Hello everyone, I'm Lee Hogan and welcome to MXTV. I'm joined as usual by Brandon Bell. Welcome, Belly.
Thanks, Hogs. We've got another good one in store tonight, haven't we?
We sure do, because in tonight's show, Mac is back with the first of our Blokes and their Bikes segments for the year. We take a look at the high pressure but often unappreciated role of team manager and chat with some of the top US team bosses to find out what it's all about. And in our bike review, we make one of the MXTV team very happy as we overcome a bit of a hiccup to put the Suzuki RMX 450 through its paces.
Gee, I wonder who that team member might be there, Lee.
Belly, I got a sneaking suspicion you may have an idea who that is. Now, first up tonight, we're going from our usual stars on 2 wheels to stars on 4 wheels. Now, in particular, the V8 supercars. And the head of Kelly Racing, Todd Kelly.
That's right, Lee. As well as being one of Australia's top drivers and a team owner, Todd Kelly is just a country boy at heart that really likes his dirt bikes. Now, I was lucky enough to drop into Kelly Racing headquarters just recently and have a chat to him. Joining us now is an Australian karting champion at just the age of 12. He's a Bathurst winner and now a V8 supercar team owner, Todd Kelly from Kelly Racing. Todd, welcome to MXTV, mate.
Thank you.
Now, mate, it's great to be here. You've got a fantastic workshop going on here. Tell us a little bit about what you have in the facility.
Yeah, well, we built this place up at the beginning of 2009. It was just an empty warehouse, and as we normally do things, the whole family's hooked in, and we painted this very floor ourselves and put all the steelwork and the panelling up and basically built the team from scratch. At the start of 2009, we didn't have any cars, any pit equipment, any engines for the 2 Jack Daniels cars, so the team really put in over the Christmas break, and we built 6 engines, 2 brand new chassis and all of the pit equipment. And the last few weeks in the lead into our first round, we were all here till 2 and 3 in the morning every night of the week just to get on the roads. We thought if we could get through that first bit of running our own team, we should be fine. We were very lucky to find this building that pretty much suited what we wanted to do. We didn't really want to operate our race team out of a tin shed. We wanted to elevate the whole thing and have something that we could be proud of and bring all of those sponsors in and showcase the whole team. And now we've got probably the biggest infrastructure in V8 supercars and in Australian motorsport, and it's something that the sponsors are really latching onto, and it's not just a sticker running around on the track now. It's been a big investment and a lot of work to set the team up. We're a fully self-sufficient V8 supercar team. We run 4 cars full-time. Everything's done in-house, so anything that you could think of in a race car is designed and manufactured and assembled in-house. So it's a fair bit of work, but at the same time, we've got complete control over everything we do and the quality of it. And it does take a lot of time when you're a brand new team and you don't outsource any of the fancy parts to actually get the cars up to speed. So it's a lot of work, and it is starting to come together now. The whole thing is a continuous evolution and trying to make these things go faster.
Take us through the journey of starting racing to getting here.
We've done it the hard way, that's for sure. My brother and I have come up from go-karts, and we had a little bit of a help through a few of the locals to help work on the karts, but when myself in particular went into Formula Ford, we just bought an old wreck of a car and actually rebuilt that car in our shed at home in Mildura in between school. I got up every morning at 6 o'clock and worked on this car and knew everything about it. So everything that we've done ourselves, from ordering tyres to building engines to running the car at the track. So we've had a lot of experience, but nothing of the size of this. You know, we have 45 full-time staff running these cars, and you know, we have 14 different departments here in the team, and up until this point, running a Formula Ford or a Formula Holden, you'd have yourself and a couple of volunteers for the weekend would be about it. Even though it is a lot of work, not many people get to do the whole thing and, you know, get the reward for that.
Where to from here, mate?
Rick and I are very happy to spend the rest of our careers in V8 supercars, especially now that we have our own team. And Rick and I are very big on giving young people an opportunity. You know, there's a lot of kids out there that have got an amazing amount of talent but don't have the money to get in, and it's the same from a team's perspective. It's one of the things that we'd like to try and do here, and hopefully they'll get to the point where they can replace us in a few years.
Tell us your role here at Kelly Racing, mate. I know it's a big one.
Both Rick and myself are responsible for pretty much everything in here. It's pretty good. We've been here for 2.5 years now, and we're just next to each other in our offices, and we've not had one blue, which isn't too bad. We used to blue a little bit when we were growing up, but when I turned 17 and moved to Melbourne, and Rick stayed in Mildura. We started to really get along well because we were separated, and ever since we've been fine, and we work together on a daily basis. Rick looks after all of the commercial operations in the team, so I look after the racing operations and the budget and all the racing side of it. It's been a little bit of a change in lifestyle for Rick and I. We certainly haven't clocked up as many Ks on our dirt bikes as what we used to before we started the team. It's pretty busy nowadays, but it's also very rewarding. You know, it's a lot of work, but the few times that we have got on the podium probably have been the most special podiums that we've had over our careers.
How did you get started riding dirt bikes?
I grew up in Mildura on the land. I got on a motorbike for the first time on a little three-wheeler when I was 2.5 years old. We'd get home from school, throw the backpacks in the driveway and get on the motorbikes every day. I actually started racing motorbikes after I did go-karts. I got my first real bike, which is a KX80, and then we went and raced motorbikes for a season.
Now, your little boy, and he's starting to ride. Is that something that you consciously wanted to bring onto him, riding dirt bikes and then into cars?
He actually beat me by about 6 months. I think I was 2.5 when I got on a motorbike and rode it on my own, and he'd just turned 2. And he was up and down the driveway on a three-wheeler all by himself. But it's something that I always wanted to do with the kids. I think it's very important from a young age to teach them how to operate equipment and to respect that.
You could just about do anything you want to do, realistically. Why do you get out and ride a dirt bike?
It's what we've always done. You know, from growing up as kids, you'd have an average day at school or whatever, and you'd get home and throw the helmet on, and it didn't matter what was going on in the world. As soon as you jump on the dirt bike and fang around the paddock, it doesn't matter, you're yourself, and we've grown up with that, and it's something that we really miss being able to do regularly. It's something that we do every Christmas. We've got a station up at Mildura, and we do hundreds of Ks over Christmas. If we could do that every day of the year, we'd be very happy people, but we can still do it. We ride our own contracts now as drivers, so it's one thing that has been a little bit dodgy over the years. We weren't supposed to ride motorbikes in our previous contracts, but we always did. We still have to be responsible, but we can do whatever we want and get up the farm and go for a burn.
So now I know why you started the race team, just so you can write your own contracts.
Well, mate, that was great fun. I'm surprised it's wet and slippery out here, and you did a great job.
You've had a bit of an off up there, mate. What happened?
I don't know what you're talking about. It didn't fall off. It wasn't me on the bike. I lent it to one of the other guys, and look what they've done. It must have been.
Come on, mate. Now, I seen the front end start to lose it. Was it just a front end washout?
Yeah, in my language, I got a bit of understeer and fell off. All right. There's not a scratch on it still, and I'm not going to lie to you, this is the first time I've actually ever worn proper motorbike boots. I normally ride in Bluntstone, so motorbike boots for the first time and a wet hill aren't really the right thing for a day out, but no, had an awesome time, thanks very much.
Oh, mate, I did too, and well done, mate, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
And thanks very much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure having you out here, and we'll have to catch up and do this a bit more once you wear your boots in.
We'll do it again next week.
Well, for a bloke that's got so much on his plate, it's great to see he's still got time to go and have a ride with his young lad, who is showing some great form.
He did, didn't he? And he's definitely got the love for speed like his old man, and I think he watches MXTV because he loves to hold it on.
He does love to hold it on. And you too can hold it on if you're the big winner of our MXTV 2011 competition. Here's how you can win.
This year on MXTV, thanks to KTM and bikesales.com.au, you get the chance to be one of the first people in the world to win a revolutionary new KTM 350 EXCF. The bike that's ready to turn the enduro world upside down. The revolutionary new 350 EXCF is brand spanking new and one of the most anticipated releases ever in the enduro world. With a lightweight chrome moly chassis, modern bodywork and a new PDS rear suspension, combined with the compact and powerful new 350 EXCF engine, this bike is the ultimate for any real enduro enthusiast. The prize also comes with a complete set of riding gear from Fox Clothing, a handy Kinchrome dirt bike toolkit, and a fantastic oil package from our friends at Motul. It's an unbelievable prize valued at nearly 14 grand, and it couldn't be easier to enter. All you have to do is go to www.bikesales.com.au, click the MXTV competition banner, enter your details, and you're in the running. The winner will be announced in our final show of the series, but keep watching the show each week to find out how you can win. So what are you waiting for? Head to the bikesales.com.au website, get your entry in, and you could be riding away with this truly incredible prize.
Yeah, not long to go now, Belly, so get to bikesales.com.au, get your entry in, and you could be a winner.
You certainly can. Great advice there, Lee. And can you believe it? That's not all you can win on MXTV, because if you just go to the MXTV Facebook page, you can win yourself this fantastic Drift Innovation HD 170 camera. It's fantastic for filming your riding or anything really. It's HD quality, and just a couple of clicks of your mouse could win you one. Check it out. To find the page, just go to Facebook and search MXTV. Couldn't be easier.
How much stuff can we give away on this show? Honestly, it's outrageous, Belly.
Certainly is, mate, but it's always good to give stuff away.
That it is. All right, well, it's time for our first break here on MXTV, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we've got plenty more great stuff right after this.
Welcome back to MXTV. Well, he's back by popular demand, so let's take a look at what Macca's got in store for the first of this year's Blokes and Their Bikes.
G'day everyone, Macca here again, back with more Blokes and more bikes in 2011. Now today I'm here at Gary Hacking's house. He's got a very special vintage big bore. It's a 1984 model RM500 full floater. Now, it's a pretty special bike, but before we go and check it out, I've got to get suited up. Right, let's go and have a look. G'day Gaz, how you going, mate?
G'day, Macca. What in the hell are you doing?
Mate, I'm here to look at the full floater. Isn't that a bike that floats or something?
You've got to be joking. Lose that gear if you want to say this, mister.
What the? Now, Gaz, I've never seen so many Suzukis. Mate, you've got a fantastic shed here. You've got some great stuff. We've got some old body armour hanging up over there. Now, I noticed in the corner over there, you've got a jet ski. Apparently, you were pretty gun on a jet ski. Is that right?
I had a crack at it. I was lucky enough in the early 90s. I won the Australian Surf titles and a number of state titles as well.
Okay, now this is the bike we've come to see, the mighty RM500 1984 model. Gaz, when did you get this?
Well, this is not the first one I've had, Macca. I've had 3 or 4 of these in the last couple of years. A lot of guys want them, I sell them, build another one. It's stock standard except for the DG pipe and muffler. Bit of bling, and also makes the bike a lot more rideable.
Why Suzuki? What is your passion about Suzuki?
It's all my old man's fault, really. He had a shop next door to Peter Stevens in the early 70s. We used to wander out, you know, instead of cleaning up, my brothers and I, we used to wander in and look through the window at Peter Stevens and just drool over these, you know, mini bikes and RM80s, and it was probably the start of my addiction to Suzuki. I have a 1978 RM250 PE175 Enduro, an RM250 1983, a RM400N 1979, an RM400T 1979, and my favourite being the RM370A 1976. That's a full Motocross Fox factory replica bike.
Out of all these bikes, which bikes have you actually bought and which bikes have you actually built?
The RM400s are all hand-built. The Motocross Fox and the RM500 are completely put together from scratch.
Now, we had a bit of a joke before about the full floater. Now, tell us, what is the full floater suspension?
Suzuki went from twin shock suspension to the new full floater, being a full floating top rocker arm, allowing the struts to move the suspension, as in full floating the rear shock itself.
Okay, does it work?
It works real good. The thing with this bike, it was the introduction to long travel suspension and power. It was a real weapon. These things are really quick.
You do the Viper series,
Yep.
and you ride this in pre-85? Pre-85 class?
Yep.
Do you see many other Suzukis in the pre-85?
There's a couple of guys that are riding for Suzukis.
Now also too, you're good mates with Ray Vandenberg, or Goof.
Yep.
Now Goof actually won Mr Motocross
He did
on
indeed.
an RM500, one of these.
To see Goof ride back in the early 80s and win Mr Motocross on one of these things was a dream for most of us. He was on a big board, he was so fast on the thing. To hear the thing going up the straight at Broadford was just It was fantastic.
The thing that amazed me about Golf, it was like a tea-towel flapping in the breeze. He was just hanging off the thing, and it was just amazing to see him ride. Okay, mate, thank you very much for showing us around your shed. That's really good.
Thanks, Macca. You can come around anytime, dude.
No worries, mate. Okay, that wraps it up for this week. But remember, if it's classic, it's fantastic.
Yeah, big thanks to Gary and Macca there. A nice job with the floater gag too. All right, now, team managers are people that we quite often see in the media from time to time. But a lot of people don't actually understand what their job description is. They have to deal with all kinds of pressures, from organising team structures to organising sponsors, and quite often dealing with some pretty big egos along the way. And how do they do it? Well, we thought we'd take a bit of a look.
I've caught up with one of the most known team managers, Team Honda's Eric Keogh.
Thank you very much, and good day, mate.
It's the Aussie man, probably been one of the busiest team managers throughout the off-season.
There's so much involved in this job anyway. It's not a 9-to-5 deal and away from the family and just your whole way of life. But for me, it wasn't about a paycheck so much.
Mike Fisher, Mike, you've got a big team to look after. Tell us what it's like to manage a team like this on a very busy day like today.
It's like a circus over here with these guys. It's like a bunch of wild animals.
Now, a little bit about yourself. How did you get into being a team manager? How did it all come about?
I've been around the sport a long time. I turned professional when I was 16. Started riding for Honda back at Honda of Troy days. And then I had an opportunity to start managing the team at Honda of Troy. And then it just grew from there. It's fun to see the sport evolve as it has over the past 10 years. And it's really interesting to watch these younger guys like Trey Kennard and what they're taking the limits to. They're raising the bar for sure.
Do you actually pick out the talent and say, look, I want that guy on my team?
Yeah, we work together at Honda. You know, we have a committee here that we discuss with management. And of course, I have ideas, they have ideas, and we sit down and we talk about it. We decide what a good direction is for Honda to go. That's talent-wise, marketing, and I think that's important to do. You know, for Honda, they have an image that they want to keep. Very hard-working, first-class individuals that are very competitive.
You get all of these kids, and they are just kids coming through, and obviously you have to really wean them off their parents. How hard is that to do diplomatically?
We as a team try to involve them with what we're doing as much as possible. But in the past, we've had issues with dads, and it's a tough go. You're right. I mean, I don't even know what to say about it. It's kind of like day to day almost.
Would that make a decision on picking the rider?
It could, certainly, yeah. There's riders here in this pit today that have really good talent and that have been passed up by teams because of it. I mean, hopefully the families can be supportive of their kid as their kid. But the dads feel, and the moms, and they all feel like they're losing something. Hey, we were with him his whole career, every day for 20 years or 15 years, and now he's gone. Well, what do you mean he's gone? Well, the difference is we do this as a job and a profession. That's what we do. We specialize in it. They can specialize in parenting. That's what they should do. That's hard for them to hear, though.
Does it mean that you have to be an ex-rider to be a team manager? Because it looks that way, that's for sure.
I think it certainly helps. I feel like I can relate to the riders pretty closely. I've been in a lot of the same situations.
I just talk to the riders, you know, just kind of more like talking to you doing good, you know, like let's work on this section. I can tell those things because I did it and I know.
And when we compare notes and talk about things, I think it helps to have that experience and you can relate really closely.
I think the biggest thing that I see with any of the riders we've ever had is the pressure that they feel is their own pressure that they put. Because I felt pressure and I did these dumb things because I thought somebody would think something or another rider would. And I tell me the pressure you're putting on yourself is not warranted. Don't worry about that. That's bullshit. You know, that's not even a remote issue right now. Let's work on you and your things, not them. Don't think about them. Because a lot of the riders do. They spin what's said and they think about it and it gets to them. And I did it the same when I raced. And it's kind of like the mental part of it is the biggest issue, I think.
Not only is it the riders, but you've got to look after the mechanics and everybody else as well as representatives that come in. How do you deal with that?
There's a lot of different aspects to our organization here, and we have a really great team.
I keep track of the times. I tell the mechanics the lap times on the track, but there's not a lot of work that I'm really doing. These guys are doing all the work today. I mean, it's a highly competitive group of guys. Everybody wants to win.
I think that the riders feel the confidence behind the team when everybody is giving it 100%. We have a lot of hardworking individuals, and it makes my job a lot easier.
If I didn't show up, they could do everything themselves. I mean, they really work like a clock, so it's pretty awesome.
Mate, you've done this for a few years. I only work like a clock because I got the right man winding it.
Yeah.
You seem to be very poised and relaxed. I'm surprised. Is that just the way that things have been going?
Sure, I'm more mellow, but things can still set me off. You know, I'm like anybody else. If you slam your finger in the door, it hurts. But, you know, I'd like to think I'm better now than I used to be. I mean, you know, we all get better with age, maybe like a bottle of wine or something. But I want to keep everything drama-free, so to speak. If we're the Titanic, I want to hopefully see the iceberg before we hit it. Because I think, you know, even the best carpenters can hit their thumb with a hammer, and I'm just trying to see that coming. But again, we got some factory guys on the staff, so everybody's really experienced, and there's a lot of great minds involved in this omelet, and I think that helps. It's the quality of people you bring in, and so far no icebergs, you know? So far so good.
If you want your bike to stay in the best condition possible, then you need to use the best products to look after it. And Motul have 3 sensational products on the market that'll keep your bike looking factory. The first is Motul Parts Clean, a multi-purpose degreaser for all your mechanical parts. It's perfect for dissolving oil, grease, tar and even brake fluid. It's non-chlorine and best of all, unlike some other products, the spray bottle can be used upside down, so you can get to those hard to get to spots on the bike. And it comes in a big 840ml can. Next up is Motul's 7100 10W60 oil, which is a high-performance oil designed to suit specific Husky and KTM engines requiring 10W60 viscosity. There's a heap of sciencey technical info we can say about this oil, but we won't bore you with that. This stuff is a duck's guts, so just use it. Lastly is Motul Perfect Seat, which gives you exactly what the name on the can says, by not only cleaning dirt and grime off, but also as it uses a silicone-free formula that has dust repellent capabilities that leaves the seat dry with a non-greasy sheen. That's always important if you want to stay connected to your bike. Speaking of staying connected, lastly today we check out these trick new La Corsa foot pegs from Link International. Made of 6061 alloy and fully CNC machine, there's no screws or bits to rattle loose and fall off. Their wider than stock pegs are available for pretty much all bikes and come in a variety of colours. So you get to choose how to get your bling on. All the products featured today are available at most good bike stores, or for more information just go to the Link International website.
Yeah, good stuff. Another great product. Now it's time for this week's bike review. We've had to make a few changes. Let's see what went down.
This week in our bike review, we take a look at the 2011 Suzuki RMX 450Z. The RMX 450Z shares much of its DNA with Suzuki's championship-winning RMZ 450 motocrosser, including its fuel-injected 449cc engine, aggressive styling, and race-bred frame, suspension and bodywork. The 5-speed transmission features wide gear ratios to help riders get the most of the RMX's power plant, and its compact instrumentation offers riders the choice between 2 modes. A sports mode showing basic info such as a trip meter, timer and average speed, while the standard mode displays additional info such as speed, time and trip information. The RMX 450Z also comes with an electric starter, and its electronic fuel injection system ensures crisp and strong power delivery, lower emissions and impressive fuel economy. The RMX 450Z is available in Australia now, and for a competitive quote on your fire and theft insurance, contact QBE Insurance, the motorcycle insurance specialists. Okay, with Cam unavailable, let's see what Jamie and Belly have to say about the bike.
I must say I was rapt to get a call up to ride the Suzuki RMX 450.
I think the last time we test rode an RMX was probably about the same time last year. There's not a lot of change from last year to this year's.
This bike really is a race weapon. It's built on the RMZ 450 with a few little differences for enduro obviously. It's got the electric start, the gear ratios are a little bit bigger, suspension's a little bit soft.
The first thing I noticed when I hopped on the bike is this seat. It is absolutely rock hard.
It is a little bit hard. Call me around and give me a couple of goes on it and I'll soften it up for you, but in all honesty, they've put a motocross seat on the bike. It's going to take a little while to break it in and make it that soft little armchair that you like. If you're somebody that likes to sit on top of the bike and likes to ride a bike hard, then it's not really an issue.
Yeah, one of the interesting things on this Suzuki is that it doesn't have a key. We looked for quite a while to find one. We've since found this ignition button, which is handy, but you've got a problem when you start the bike and go riding and come back and turn it off with the kill switch. It leaves the lights on.
It might take a little bit of time to get used to the push button ignition, but I'm sure once you've flattened the battery a couple of times, you remember to push the button to turn it off.
You can get this bike to suit your own riding style, but you're going to have to spend some money on it. You're going to have to modify the suspension, change tyres. You know, there's a lot of little things that you do normally on a bike before you feel comfortable on it.
I tell you what, if I was out to race enduros, this is a bike I'd pick. This bike has got it all. It's easy to start. The other thing that I like, it has a big note to it.
The Suzuki 450s are always good bikes, fun to ride. Heaps of power, you know, it's got really good components all the way through it, and it's just a fun bike to ride.
Now, I've really had a great time today. I have forgotten how much fun it is to ride these bikes in tests. I don't know whether Cam's going to come back or not. I'll have to have a chat to him because I've had too good a day.
Now, who would have thought volcanic ash cloud and cancelling of flights would have made someone actually happy? Belly, you must have been extremely pumped to get back on the bike for the tests.
I was super pumped, Lee. I tell you what, when I did get the call from Cam that he was unavailable, I must say, I wasn't too upset about it. You know, him not turning up didn't matter to me. I was wrapped, mate. It was a long time since I'd done bike reviews and I'd forgotten how much fun it was to do them. I had a ball.
Well, you looked like you had a ball, that's for sure. Now, we actually didn't get to catch it on camera, but we still got Cam to do a little bit of a hot lap. Now, we've been a bit slackier the last couple of weeks, so before we look at the RMX, let's update the board. The KTM EXCF 4-stroke came in at a time of 3 minutes, 2.5 seconds, and last week's KLX 140 was pinned to do a 3-minute, 32-second lap time. This week, the Suzuki RMX 450's time suffered in the slippery conditions a bit, but still managed to squeeze into second place with a flat 3-minute, 2-second lap. Well, it's been another great show, Belly, but I'm sad to say it's time to go.
It is, mate, but we'll be back next week. Same MX time, same MX place. You like that one?
I did. I like that. Do you want this? You can take this position.
That would make you Batman and me Robin.
All right, well, thank you everyone for joining us. On behalf of Brendan Bell, myself, Lee Hogan, and the whole MXTV crew, thanks for tuning in. Until next week, hold it on.